You're going to pay for my pain and suffering because you couldn't stay beautiful, Dad? What are you talking about, Michelle? Right now, I feel a sense of achievement like never before. Today, I finally paid off my mortgage. My husband Daniel and I took out a 35-year mortgage right after getting married. We split it equally between us. Fortunately, the land belonged to my grandfather, so we got permission to use it. Despite this advantage, paying back the loan was a challenge. Ever since our daughter, Lisa, a high schooler now, was born, I've been constantly juggling housework, childcare, and work with no time to rest. Daniel isn't good at housework, so I ended up doing most of it. However, I could only manage this because I work from home. Just because you're home doesn't mean I'll dump all the work on you. I'll cover more of the finances. Just trust me, Daniel initially promised to contribute more financially. However, this promise only lasted a few years. His attitude changed about 3 years into our mortgage repayment and after Lisa was born. You've got it easy being at home all day. I bet you take naps all day when you're not up in the night with Lisa. You're home all day. At least get the housework done. Daniel belittled my work-from-home job, thinking of it as a relaxed way to earn pocket money. However, even working from home has deadlines, and earning enough to help pay off the mortgage while taking care of household chores and childcare is not an easy task. But Daniel didn't understand that. Honestly, I thought of leaving Daniel multiple times. There was even a time when I brought up divorce, but Daniel tearfully apologized and refused. And then we had Lisa. I didn't want a divorce to negatively impact Lisa's future career or marriage prospects, so I held back and have been trying my best until now. Ah, you paid off half the mortgage then. Could you sign this divorce paper? Strangely, Daniel asked for a divorce the moment the mortgage was paid off. We were celebrating our mortgage payoff at a fancy restaurant as a family of 3. I had dressed up a bit more than usual and was enjoying a delicious meal when Daniel took out the divorce papers. There had been no signs until then. Mom, congratulations on paying off the mortgage, Lisa said. Thank you. Now we need to start saving for retirement, I replied. Oh no, does this mean we can't splurge? Lisa asked. Hey, of course not. We also need to save for things like your future study abroad program, I reassured her. Thanks. I'll help with saving, so let me know what I can do, Lisa said. That's how Lisa and I were talking. We were already saving, but without the mortgage, we could save more quickly. So we were talking optimistically about how we'd spend our money in the future. Lisa is a high schooler now, and it was really moving to see that we could have this deep of a conversation. But then, I can't see you as a woman anymore, Michelle. I mean, the way you're working your tail off is a total turn-off, I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm planning on marrying this young woman I'm seeing now, so could you move out? Daniel suddenly blurted out. He just kept talking, oblivious to the shock on Lisa's and my faces. The girl's name is Amelia. Want to see a picture? Daniel continued. Isn't she cute? Totally different from you, Michelle. Even when she's working, she looks like she's having fun and doesn't seem stressed. A real social butterfly, Nothing like you. Wait a minute. The reason I worked so hard was to pay off our family's mortgage. Do you have any idea how tough it is to pay half the mortgage on a work-from-home salary? And wasn't I busy because of all the housework? You never did any of it, Daniel. I interjected. Well, housework is a woman's job, isn't it? I'm just no good at it, Daniel replied. I wasn't good at housework either, but I did my best for our family. We finally paid off our mortgage, so now's our chance, right? Then why are you saying this? When we bought the house and I suggested we divorce, you refused. You said Lisa's still here, so please don't divorce me, I said, trying to make him understand. I've changed my mind since then, Daniel retorted in response to my words, looking irritated despite being in a nice restaurant. The atmosphere between us was just awful. Well, what can I do? Younger women are just more attractive. Sure, the economic power you showed in paying off the mortgage with your work-from-home job was appealing. But you just can't compete with youth, Daniel continued callously. That's terrible, Dad. That's awful. It's rude to Mom. Apologize. Lisa interjected. Lisa doesn't get it yet, huh? But you get it right, Michelle. Women are like appliances. Newer models perform better, and everyone wants them, right? Daniel compared me to an appliance, which was incredibly rude. Well, I don't have any feelings for you anymore, so it's only natural that I say rude things, right? And as for not divorcing for Lisa's sake, well, I might have said that at the time, but that was just an excuse. Daniel continued with his unbelievable statements. Before I could even comprehend him, he kept going on with his arguments. At that time, I thought it would be better to use Lisa's name to prevent a divorce. I thought that would make you reconsider. But in reality, I wasn't thinking about Lisa at all. I was just refusing to let go of someone who would do the housework for me. That's... Can you really say that in front of Lisa? What kind of parent are you, huh? I interrupted, shocked. What does being a parent have to do with anything? I've always prioritized myself, Daniel concluded, revealing his true colors. I'll sacrifice myself for my child's sake. That's just self-satisfaction, right? Don't drag me into that. Daniel's words were unbelievable. Sure, Daniel had always been a bit selfish, but I thought he was still fulfilling his responsibilities as a parent. I never imagined he would say something like this in front of Lisa. Well, look, I feel bad about leaving a woman your age all alone, just like you. That's why I'm giving you all our assets, Daniel said. Dad, what are you talking about? You just told me to leave a while ago, Lisa retorted. That's why I'm saying I'm giving you the money. But in exchange, I'm taking the house. Consider it as alimony, Daniel stated. Alimony? Why would Mom have to pay that? Shouldn't you be the one to pay for having an affair with a younger woman? Lisa challenged. It's not like that, Lisa. Your mom is at fault here too. Let's see, the reason for the alimony can be the crime of not staying pretty, right? Oh, and let's add the crime of prioritizing her daughter over her husband. Daniel laughed out loud, taking a sip of his drink. Lisa was angry at Daniel's demeanor, but for some reason I felt calm. Or perhaps my thoughts were just frozen because I couldn't comprehend what was happening. It was beyond my understanding. Daniel felt like an alien to me. I'm giving you all the money, but because of prioritizing mortgage repayments, there isn't much cash left yet. Daniel continued, he plans to give that away and keep the house for himself. And the alimony is for not being able to stay pretty and for prioritizing Lisa. I can't comprehend what he's saying at all. I was desperately trying to figure out what to say to this alien like Daniel. I guess involving lawyers and our parents would be realistic. I was about to speak when Lisa beat me to it. By the way, Dad, is this young woman you're talking about the one living about 5 stations away from here? She's a bit older than me, right? You met her about 3 months ago, didn't you? What? How do you know that? I asked, ignoring our surprise. Well, you see, my friend's dad also got involved in a similar trouble recently. A woman suddenly approached him, saying, "Look at me, not your wife." But that dad promptly discussed it with his wife so they could see through the woman's intentions and kept her at bay. Unlike our dad, he was wise. Lisa, how can you talk to me, your father, like that? Daniel fumed. What? I'm just telling the truth. By the way, I heard that the situation at my friend's house was also quite difficult. The relationship between the couple was strained for a while. But what's important is what comes next. It seems this Amelia lady targets all men who have girlfriends or wives. Lisa explained. What? What do you mean, Lisa? What are you saying? I was confused. Watch your words about Amelia. I won't forgive you, even if you're my daughter, Daniel threatened. But Lisa remained unperturbed. She then showed a few photos from her smartphone. Look at this. The first photo is of my club senior being approached by her. The second is a classmate of mine being approached. Both of them have girlfriends, and she told them, "Look at me, not your girlfriend." What? What does that mean? I asked. Well, she seems to enjoy stealing other people's men. She doesn't like Dad. She just likes the thrill of stealing, Lisa revealed. Daniel seemed shocked by Lisa's words. He was silent for about a minute, just staring blankly. But eventually, he seemed to regain his senses. He retorted back at Lisa with a desperate expression. No, Amelia isn't that kind of person. Don't spread such lies. I love her, and Amelia loves me too. Stop making false accusations just because you're a high schooler. Even in high school, there's not a thing or two you know. The one who doesn't know anything is you, right, Dad? Lisa challenged. What was the reason for alimony again? The sin of prioritizing your daughter over looking good. What is that? Some new kind of stand-up comedy joke? It's not funny at all, Lisa continued. That's no way to talk to your parent. You're being disrespectful, Daniel retorted. Then, Dad, you're being really rude to Mom. Aren't you claiming alimony for weird reasons? I mean, the house is in Mom's name, right? And about the mortgage, Mom was the one who paid more under the guise of child support, right? The contributions to the household chores are also vastly different. If you really want a divorce, you should pay the cost of the house, which is under Mom's name, right? Of course, that includes the full price of the land. And the one who should leave the house after paying the alimony while having fun with Amelia is you, Dad, Lisa pointed out. At Lisa's words, Daniel seemed to be lost for words. Perhaps somewhere in his mind he realized he was at a disadvantage. However, he didn't seem to want to admit it at all. He argued back desperately at Lisa. You just don't want a divorce and are making stuff up. Amelia has a stealing husband hobby, huh? It's useless to try to trick me with such lies. Amelia told me. I was her destiny, Daniel asserted. Yeah, whatever, Lisa replied dismissively. She seemed to have no interest in Daniel's rebuttal. Instead, she was looking at the menu excitedly, wondering what was coming next. On the other hand, Daniel, his face turning red, continued to complain to Lisa. Amelia and I are bound by true love, and you guys are the devils trying to interfere with that. You could even pay the alimony as an apology for that. Oh wow, really? I didn't know that. Amazing. You really know a lot, not being a high schooler at all, Lisa sarcastically remarked. If you insist on that, why not involve a lawyer? Lisa continued. What? I mean, you think you're right, don't you? But Mom won't be able to accept such an absurd claim, right? Well, yes, that's true. I think it's impossible to accept such a nonsensical claim for alimony, Daniel admitted. Great then, let's at least fill out the divorce papers. We can get this deal when we get home, right? And we'll submit it tomorrow. Then we'll get a lawyer involved for alimony and property division at a later date. All right, it's settled. Now, it's about time for dessert. I'm looking forward to it. Initially taken aback by Daniel's incomprehensible statement, his words gave me courage. Regardless of what kind of woman this Amelia was, I could no longer love Daniel. Daniel, too, wouldn't be able to live with us from now on. If that's the case, there's only one thing to do. All right, I'll sign it then. I signed the divorce papers that Daniel had brought. The three of us then silently finished our last dessert and left the restaurant. The following day, the three of us went to the city hall to submit our divorce papers. The divorce was successfully finalized, and Daniel and I started living in separate weekly rental apartments. Of course, I was with Lisa. After a while, we each hired lawyers and started discussing the divisions of assets and alimony. However, there was no lawyer who would acknowledge Daniel's claim that I couldn't stay beautiful and I prioritized our daughter over him. Daniel's liability was recognized. Even Daniel, who had refused to listen to Lisa and me, seemed weak when spoken to by a lawyer. In the end, he honestly admitted his fault. Ultimately, the divorce was finalized with Daniel renouncing his share of the property. Also, the house would now solely be in my name. This seemed to have been influenced by Daniel's long-standing neglect of the household chores. In any case, it turned out to be the best result for Lisa and me. Oh, I don't need any money. I've got Amelia. You guys can just cling to that old house once you finish your 35-year mortgage. I'm starting a new life, Daniel boasted until the end. However, unfortunately, Daniel was not able to start this new life. It turned out that the young woman was just as Lisa had described. Amelia liked to toy with men who were already in relationships or married. So Daniel got dumped as soon as we separated. Apparently, she lost interest. Of course, this was unexpected for Daniel. Having lost his assets and the love he believed in, a flustered Daniel immediately sought to reconcile with me. Michelle, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. You're the only one for me, and I'm the only one for you, right? What are you talking about? I'm tired of doing housework for you. Plus, I don't think I can stay beautiful in the future. And of course, I plan to prioritize Lisa and myself over you. I can't afford to be sued for alimony again, so reconciliation is out of the question. Absolutely out of the question. I firmly rejected him. Being rejected so brutally must have been a shock to Daniel. Since then, I've received no contact from him. Now I've moved out of the weekly rental, and I'm happy living in my own home. Having paid off the mortgage with just Lisa will soon start preparing earnestly for college entrance exams. Of course, I plan to support her with everything I have.